Tom Watson was a legend, adored by the entire golf world. Yet behind all the trophies and applause, he faced personal battles that cut deep. As his career began to wind down, the very sport that once elevated him seemed to turn its back, testing him in ways few could have imagined for a man of his stature. It was as if the game itself was challenging his strength in the coldest way possible. While his name is synonymous with greatness, it also carries chapters filled with drama, steadfast beliefs, and struggles both on and off the course. In 1990, Watson made headlines when he left the Kansas City Country Club after they denied membership to an applicant simply because he was Jewish, a decision that sent shockwaves through the golf world. The decision to deny membership simply because an applicant was Jewish revealed the kind of man Watson truly was. With a Jewish wife at the time, he didn't just see the move as wrong, it struck at his own home and community. If someone connected to his family wasn't welcome, he refused to stay either. And when he resigned, he did it loudly and unapologetically, sending shockwaves through the country club scene and proving that his courage extended far beyond the fairways. But his confrontations with controversy didn't end there. In the 1983 Skins game, a high-profile event filled with golfing greats, Watson directly challenged Gary Player over what he saw as a rules violation in a sport built on honesty and respect. Calling out another legendary player was bold, shaking the golfing world and adding to Watson's reputation as not only a fierce competitor, but also someone who refused to compromise his principles. Years later, he found himself in another storm as captain of the 2014 US Ryder Cup team, one of the sport's most pressure-packed stages. While leading the American squad was both an honor and a challenge, Watson's old-school leadership style clashed with many modern PGA players, some of whom saw him as a legend out of touch with the current era. Watson struggled at times to command a team that had evolved in ways he didn't fully connect with, and criticism peaked after the US team suffered a tough loss. Phil Mickelson, one of the squad's biggest stars, openly questioned Watson's decisions as captain, sparking a heated debate about whether his old-school approach still had a place in a game rapidly moving into a new era. Yet, despite the scrutiny, pressure, and public disagreements, Watson held his ground, remaining one of golf's true icons. His fierce battles with Jack Nicklaus in the late 1970s and early 1980s became legendary, producing some of the sport's most unforgettable showdowns. Their duels, particularly in major championships, were not just contests but masterclasses in talent, strategy, and mutual respect, captivating fans worldwide. Watson's victories further cemented his place in history. 8 major championships, including 5 Open titles, 2 Masters, and 1 US Open. His dominance at the Open Championship, especially on its wild, windy fairways, became the stuff of legend, showcasing a mastery few in golf history have ever matched and solidifying a career defined by brilliance, resilience, and enduring greatness. Tom Watson's career was filled with moments that cemented his status as one of golf's all-time greats. He stepped onto the PGA Tour in 1971, ready to make his mark, and by 1973, he found the person who would profoundly shape his journey, his caddy, Bruce Edwards. Their partnership began at the St. Louis tournament at Norwood Hills Country Club, and they clicked instantly. Edwards was far more than a bag carrier. He became a true partner, a steadying presence in chaos, an honest voice in tense moments, and a trusted ally through the highs and lows of Watson's career. Together, they forged a run that golf fans still celebrate, with Edwards quietly earning a legendary reputation for loyalty, discipline, and unwavering support. Behind the success, both men faced battles beyond the scorecard. Watson wrestled with swings and doubts, even as the world considered him unbeatable, while Edwards navigated personal challenges, but never wavered in his commitment. Their bond was built on grit, trust, and mutual respect, carrying them through decades of triumphs and trials. Even as critics suggested his best days were behind him, Watson refused to fade quietly. In 2009, at nearly 60 years old, he stunned the golf world by nearly winning the Open Championship, a feat nobody thought possible at that age, leaving players, fans, and commentators alike in awe of his enduring skill and determination. Even as the years added up, Watson reminded everyone that greatness doesn't fade with time. In 2009, he battled the course, the wind, and the pressure like a man half his age, putting on a near-unreal performance at the Open Championship. Though he narrowly missed the title, the respect he earned was immense, a testament to his skill, determination, and enduring spirit. Yet Watson's story wasn't just about chasing trophies. it was also about facing heartbreak head-on. The hardest blow came in 2004 when Bruce Edwards, his longtime caddy and partner, passed away after a battle with ALS, leaving a void no victory could ever fill. Watson spoke openly about the profound impact Edwards had on his life, calling him a brother, a partner, and the heartbeat of their incredible run together. In his grief, Watson turned to purpose, using his platform to raise awareness and funds for ALS research, showing fans that his heart was as strong if not stronger than his swing. Long before these moments, Watson had experienced early challenges and triumphs that shaped his career. His first real shot at a major came at the 1974 US Open at Winged Foot, where he led after 54 holes, but faltered in the final round. That disappointment, however, opened the door to a pivotal relationship when legendary golfer Byron Nelson, impressed by Watson's bold, attacking style, offered guidance. A few months later, Watson visited Nelson during the Byron Nelson Classic, sparking a lifelong mentorship and friendship reminiscent of Nelson's own guidance with Ken Venturi in the 1950s. Just 2 weeks after the heartbreak at Winged Foot, Watson claimed his first PGA Tour victory at the Western Open, erasing a 6-shot deficit in the final round at Butler National and proving he possessed the steel mindset champions need when the stakes are highest. Under Byron Nelson's guidance, Watson sharpened his swing, refined his decisions, and quickly reaped the rewards. By 1975, he captured his first major, the Open Championship, in breathtaking fashion. In his debut appearance, he sank a clutch 20-foot birdie on the 72nd hole to force a playoff with Jack Newton at Carnoustie. The following day, Watson edged Newton by a single stroke, highlighted by a spectacular chip-in eagle on the 14th that fans still remember. That victory placed him in rare company, joining the likes of Ben Hogan, Tony Lima, and Ben Curtis as players who had won the Open on their first attempt. By 1977, Watson's rivalry with Jack Nicklaus became the sport's main event, igniting at the Masters with intense drama. In the final round, the two were tied as they approached the 17th, where Watson drained a smooth 20-foot birdie to take the lead, ultimately claiming his first green jacket when Nicklaus faltered on the 18th, a finish that left fans exhilarated. But the rivalry was only heating up. Later that summer, their showdown at the Open Championship at Turnberry evolved into one of golf's greatest head-to-head battles. After 3 rounds, they stood 3 shots clear of the field, setting up a final day that remains legendary. They traded shot for shot, tied again on the 17th, with every moment electrifying spectators and showcasing Watson's composure, skill, and competitive fire. On the 17th at Turnberry, Watson birdied while Nicklaus missed, setting up a dramatic 18th hole. Watson hit his approach to within 2 feet, while Nicklaus, deep in the rough, somehow managed a miracle shot onto the green and hold a 40-foot birdie putt, sending chills through the crowd. With ice-cold composure, Watson calmly sank his short birdie putt, finishing with a record-setting 12 under 268 to secure the victory, with third place a full 10 shots behind, a testament to his dominance. In 1978, he maintained his momentum, winning 5 events in a single season, but heartbreak still struck in the majors. At the Masters, he needed only a par on the final hole to force a playoff with Gary Player, but missed a challenging 10-foot putt. Later that summer, at the PGA Championship, he entered the final round with a 5-shot lead, only to lose in a 3-man playoff to John Mahaffey, marking the closest he ever came to capturing the elusive PGA Championship. Watson's place among golf's legends was solidified in the years that followed. In 1980, he dominated the Open Championship at Muirfield with a sizzling third-round 64, cruising to a 4-shot win and finishing the season as the PGA Tour's leading money winner for the 4th consecutive year, with 6 victories. The next year, he claimed his second Masters title, edging out Nicklaus and Johnny Miller by 2 strokes. But his defining moment came at the 1982 US Open at Pebble Beach. Facing Nicklaus once more, Watson found his tee shot buried in thick rough on the 17th. Confidently telling his caddy, "I'm going to make it," he chipped the ball onto the green, and it slammed into the flagstick before dropping for a miraculous birdie, thrilling the crowd. He followed that with a birdie on 18 to claim his first and only US Open title, then continued his historic run by capturing the Open Championship just a month later. Watson capped an extraordinary year by winning the Open Championship at Royal Troon, becoming only the 3rd golfer since World War II, after Ben Hogan and Lee Trevino, to capture both the US Open and the Open in the same year. a feat so rare that Tiger Woods would not join that elite club until 2000. His final major came at the 1983 Open Championship at Royal Birkdale, marking his 5th Open title and his only one on English soil. All his other Open victories came in Scotland, the home of links golf. The following year, he nearly made history again, attempting to win 3 Opens in a row, but a costly bogey on the legendary road hole at St Andrews allowed Seve Ballesteros to claim the victory. After 1984, Watson's streak of dominance slowed, going 3 full years without a PGA Tour when a drought few could have anticipated from a player of his caliber. He broke the streak in 1987 at the Nabisco Championship, proving he still had fight left in him. Through the late 1980s and early 1990s, he continued to contend, with narrow misses at the Masters and US Open showing he remained a formidable force. By the mid-1990s, Watson's form surged again, with a win at the 1996 Memorial Tournament, followed by his final PGA Tour victory in 1998 at the MasterCard Colonial, at age 48, a statement of enduring skill. Transitioning to the Champions Tour in 1999, he thrived, collecting 14 victories including 6 senior majors, proving that even in his 50s and 60s, he could still compete with younger stars. Watson's career showed that true legends never fully fade. Even as age tried to slow him down, he refused to let the spotlight drift away. Watson's competitiveness remained razor-sharp, and his presence on the course commanded respect from every player watching. One of the most remarkable chapters of his career came at the 2009 Open Championship at Turnberry. At nearly 60, Watson shocked the world by putting himself in contention to win the claret jug again. He played with the same calm fire that defined his prime, shaping shots, outsmarting conditions, and reminding everyone why his name carried legendary weight. Though he narrowly missed the title in a playoff, the run itself was historic, a statement that greatness does not fade with time. Watson's legacy, however, was about far more than victories. He faced personal struggles, heavy expectations, and moments when pressure nearly crushed him. Yet he always showed up with steady heart. His relationships with figures like Bruce Edwards and Byron Nelson highlighted his deep connections, and his influence extended beyond the leaderboard, shaping golf's culture, advocating for integrity, and challenging unfair traditions. Watson's presence inspired generations of players, while fans recognized him as a symbol of heart, courage, and enduring longevity. At the 2009 Open, he came within inches of a record-tying 6th Open title, only to see a playoff slip away, leaving him devastated yet buoyed by the global outpouring of support. He continued competing in majors for years, making his final Masters appearance in 2016 and stepping onto the Swilcan Bridge at St Andrews for the last time in 2015, moments that etched themselves into golf history. Even in his late 60s, he still found ways to shine, winning the Masters Par 3 contest in 2018 and closing out his British career at the 2019 Senior Open Championship. Every chapter, victory, rivalry, heartbreak, and triumph combined to carve the extraordinary legend that is Tom Watson, a man whose greatness lives not just in trophies but in character, resilience, and the unwavering way he showed up again and again.